What goes down, everybody? Walker Dead Phoenix here, back again with another video for you guys. Well, episode. This is Season 1, Episode 3 of my The Future Flash series, titled Lines We Don't Cross. Thank you all so much for the love and support. I do appreciate it. And one thing I will say straight off the bat, I do apologize if this episode took forever to air on the channel. It's just I've been very busy with other things because of real life stuff, and plus I was working on other videos and I was working on my other show. So if this episode took very long to air, which it did, I do apologize for that. But anyway, let's get into this episode now, shall we? The episode begins with an FBI agent arriving on the scene. He is investigating the scene as he notices there's nobody there, of course, but he's just curious. He looks at the dead body and he notices there are like scratch marks on the body. So what he does is he grabs his flashlight and he just walks down around the area, and then he hears something. He goes over to investigate, and then he sees this trail of blood in this certain position. As he is getting closer towards the end of the blood trail, he sees this werewolf covered in blood, and he is like, holy. But before he can say another word, this being slices this FBI's agent, his face, as he collapses on the floor screaming. That's where the wolf looks at him, and he's like,
You really should have come here. Don't worry. This is what happens when FBI agents like you don't mind your own business.
And then he just kills the FBI agent straight up. And then we get the opening logo. The next shot pans out where Barry, Joe, and Eddie arrive on the scene. Eddie's like, damn, who could have done that? Barry checks the body and he sees the badge. Barry's like, Joe, Eddie, look, this guy was FBI. Joe's like, FBI? What on earth was he doing here? Barry says, my theory is he was here to examine this dead corpse right here. But whatever he saw must have jumped him. Doesn't look like an attack from a bear. Hold on, I'll get a blood and DNA sample from both bodies. Here's hoping you can identify whatever did this. Joe's like, Bear, can I talk to you for a second? You don't think this is another metahuman, right? Bear's like, I don't know. I mean, it could be possible, but I can't say for certain yet. I'll take the blood and the DNA analysis back to Star Labs, and I'll show Dr. Wellsworth the photos. Here's hoping he could tell us what caused this. Joe says, yeah, agreed. Oh, speak of the devil. Bear's like, what is it? Gentlemen, officers, Becky Mooney, FBI. Your services here are no longer required. We'll take over the case from here. Joe says, is everything okay? Agent Mooney? Agent Mooney says, yeah. It's just, this investigation is now an investigation under the FBI of Central City. Now, if you would excuse us, we have to examine the crime scene. Joe says, okay. Come on, Bear. Come on, Eddie. Eddie says, yeah. Coming. The next shot is back at Star Labs. Cisco, Caitlin, and Dr. Wells are going over the evidence, and Dr. Wells is like looking at the photos, and he's like, interesting. Bear's like, what? the size of these cuts that are on the FBI agent, on the dead corpse, the size, it doesn't look like the size of a regular animal, like a cat or a dog, for example. No, it looks like the size of a being of some sort. But look at this. As I zoom in on the photos, right, there's something in between the blood of the wounds. That green energy. Bear's like, what could it be? Cisco's like, atomic energy, but mixed with some kind of poison. Dr. Wells is like, interesting, a metahuman with the ability to not just transform into a werewolf, but to have the poisonous ability that can harm other citizens by just scratching them. Caitlin's like, yeah, that is crazy. Cisco's like, hey, you good? Caitlin says, yeah, I'm fine. As Caitlin just walks away. The next shot is with a flashback of Caitlin and Ronnie at Star Labs a few hours before the particle accelerator exploded. Ronnie's like, hey, Kate, how you doing? Caitlin says, yeah, I'm doing fine, hon. I'm doing absolutely fine. Look on the bright side. In the next few hours, us and Dr. Wells, we're going to be making history. You're going to be making history. Ronnie's like, yeah, don't even get me started on that. I love you, Kate. Caitlin says, I love you too. As they both kiss. The next, as the next shot is panning out, during present day as flashback ends, Caitlin begins to cry a bit. The next shot's at the coffee place, and Barry is ordering a coffee, and he runs into Linda, and Linda's like, hey, Bear, how you doing? Bear's like, doing good. Me and Joe worked a crime scene. Linda's like, ooh, a crime scene. Barry's like, now don't get any further ideas, because it's confidential. I can't really say much about it. Linda's like, it's okay. I get it. Anyway, I gotta go. Barry's like, why? What's the rush? Linda says, no, nothing. It's just I'm having a tough time lately. I'm trying to find a new piece for my article so I can add it to my blog. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what to write about. However, I do have one idea, and that is writing about this blue and red streak. Barry's like, oh, the blue and red streak. And Linda's then like, come on, when we were in high school together, you were always clamoring around about talking about the impossible, like something impossible killed your mom. And Bear's like, yeah. Linda says, my point being, what if that impossible is in Central City saving lives? And I don't know, maybe if I gain more information and post it on my blog, maybe, I don't know, just maybe, it could get the voice out there. It could inspire others to help people around the city for many years to come. Who knows? Maybe it could inspire others. I don't know. I'm just very positive, you know. But anyway, I gotta go. Here's hoping I can figure out what to write for my article. Have a fantastic rest of your day, Barry. Barry says, you too. Next shot is back at the CCPD police department, and Barry is analyzing the blood he got off the dead FBI agent. Patty comes in the room. He's like, all right, partner, what do we got? Barry laughs and says, partner? Really? Patty then laughs as well, and then that's where she's like, fine, colleagues then. As Barry's like, yeah. Anyway, I found this blood off of the dead body of an FBI agent. From when I saw other FBI agents came on the scene, they looked pretty desperate. Patty's like, yeah. The blood, let's see here. Analyzing now. Alright, we got a match. FBI agent Luke DeBron. Says right here, 35 years old, single, birthplace Central City. Known headquarters, FBI headquarters, Central City. Not much is known about this guy. Do you know any? Did you or Joe already find out any information as to why this guy was the one targeted? Barry's like, no, I have no idea. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I just got this weird feeling that it was the wrong place, wrong time. Barry's like, yeah, maybe. Hey Bear, I wanted to ask, would you like to go on a... But then Bear gets this on his phone, and he's like, oh, son of a... Sorry, Patty, not to interrupt an emergency at my place. I'm so sorry, I gotta go. Wait, hold on, before I leave, what was it you wanted to ask? Patty's like, no, it's nothing, go. Go. The work will be here when you return. Go, Bear. Barry smiles and says, thanks, as Barry runs out of his lab. As he runs out of his lab, he sees nobody around, so he super speeds over to Star Labs and gets his suit as he is running to the destination. He gets there and he sees this metahuman. And it is revealed to be the metahuman that killed that FBI agent, but he is shapeshift into a wolf. And Barry's like, hey, ugly, I believe you're in the wrong area. As this being turns around, and Barry notices his skin is green, and this being is like,
so you were in the street, running around. How convenient. Nice to meet you. You got a name?
Barry's like, holy shit. Barry's in shock, but then he uses his speed and runs at this being and just punches it in the face, but it does nothing. This being, like, hits Barry so hard that he goes bouncing on his back to his head, and he's like, damn. Cisco's like, talk to me, Bear, what's going down? Barry's like, there's this werewolf of some kind. Cisco's like, werewolf? Barry then tells Cisco, I'm going to use my super speed to see if I can pin it in. As Barry is running, he is running in circles, but then that's where this werewolf-like being, he just gets mad. As you can see, Mad Green is all over his body, and he just explodes. Well, not explode, he just gets all mad, and his power is going all over of the area as Barry is like falling on his back and through his head. He's like, ah! This metahuman like being is like,
so, you're not fast as everyone said you are. Such a shame. Such a pity. See someone straight.
As this werewolf-like being just gets away. As he is talking to Cisco and Dr. Wells, he's like, Cisco, Dr. Wells, help. As Barry passes out. The next shot pans out is back at Star Labs. Barry wakes up and he's like, oh my gosh. Wait, what happened? Cisco's like, you passed out. Caitlin's like, yeah, you You passed out. You have multiple fractures on both your back and on your arms, and plus you also have a kidney fracture on your bottom left side of your tentacle. Bear's like, damn. Caitlin's like, Bear, you need to, I suggest you lay down for a bit. Barry's like, not a chance. This guy or animal, whatever he is, I know it's far-fetched, but I think he's a metahuman. Dr. Wells is like, how can you tell? Barry's like, when I was running fast in circles trying to close him in, he unleashed this green-like power. It wasn't just poison. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like, Cisco then says cosmic energy. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. But I can't say for certain yet. But I don't know. Whoever this guy is, or whoever this thing is, I don't know his abilities. It was fast, like anything I've ever seen before. Plus, he looked like a werewolf and his skin was green. It was almost like he was. And then Cisco's like, a killer werewolf? Oh my gosh. A killer werewolf. I actually like that. And then Dr. Wells like, yes. A metahuman that has the metahuman ability to turn into a wolf and to desire not just the ability of poisonous toxins, but also the ability to wield green cosmic energy. But only this time, it's not just through his hands, but no, it's throughout his whole body and face and eyes. Caitlin's like, Barry, come on. Not to sound like a downer, but you almost died tonight. You almost died. My suggestion is that you stay in bed. Please. We'll catch this guy. As Caitlin just walks away. The next day, Barry wakes up from Star Labs. He puts his clothes on, and then Barry's like, Cisco, is there any scans or any leads in regards to this metahuman? Cisco's like, no, not yet. Barry's like, yeah. I gotta go. I gotta go warn Joe. I gotta go. Probably get Santa a drink. I'll be back. Cisco says, yeah. The next shot is at the CCPD police department, and Barry is like talking with Joe, and Joe's like, boy, where have you been all night? Barry's like, I came across this possible metahuman. He looked like a werewolf. His skin was green, and he had this cosmic-like ability. Knocked me flat on my behind. But Joe, you need to warn the police that somehow, I don't know, like, come up with an excuse, like, hey, there's an actual werewolf in Central City. It's a dangerous one. Do not engage. Joe's like, yeah, if Captain Singh believes that. Joe's like, I don't know, Bear. I'll see what I can do. Oh, speaking of which, Bear, this is our new recruit, Nick Brooks. Nick's like,
Oh, you're that forensics guy everyone's talking about around here. Barry Allen. Where are my manners? Nick Brooks. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
I'm no need to brag, but what do you know about the case with this werewolf?
Joe's like, it's nothing. It's nothing. Nick's like,
Okay.
Barry sound like, what's wrong with your hands? Nick's like,
Oh, it's nothing. A boxing accident. Fucker jumped me when we were sparring. Anyway, I gotta run. I have to take care of some business. Nice to meet you, Barry.
Barry's like, yeah, same here. Barry then talks with Joe, and Barry's like, something about that guy seems off. Joe's like, what do you mean? That, I don't know, the blood, I mean, The blood that was on his hands, he claims it was a boxing accident, yeah, but the monster I fought, the werewolf in green skin, he also had blood on his hands. Joe's like, what are you saying? Barry's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to assume it's him, but I don't know. I mean, even if it's not, I mean, something doesn't feel right about him, you know? But I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Anyway, Joe, I gotta run. Joe's like, yeah. The next shot is Barry back in his lab, and he's like, Kate, what are you doing here? Caitlin's like, So I got a DNA test back from your suit. My theory is if we examine that with the possible match of the blood that was on the floor of the site of where that unnamed victim and where that FBI agent was killed, maybe we can identify as to who the metahuman is. Barry's like, that's a great idea. As the thing's loading, Barry's like, can I ask you a question that you don't have to answer? Caitlin says, my least favorite kind of question. Shoot. Barry then asks the question, saying, Ronnie, what was he like? It's just you don't really talk about him much. Caitlin then says, we met 3 years ago at the start of us building the particle accelerator together. Sometimes he would usually joke about how much he used to dream about being a plumber. Me and him were very different. I guess you can notice that I'm a little, well, guarded. However, with Ronnie, he knew how to make me laugh. He was sweet and kind. And he would used to say we were like fire and ice. And to be honest, he was not supposed to beat her that night. He was there for me. And then after the particle accelerator explosion, they opened those doors and I saw his remains and there's nothing left of his body. Burns everywhere. Blood everywhere. I can't stop thinking about that moment and I just miss him so much. Hold on. The loading's complete. The DNA from... We have a match. A Nick Brooks. Barry's like, what? Wait. Whoa. Wait, Kate, are you sure? Caitlin's like, yeah, why? Barry's like, I met this guy like 10 minutes ago. He had like blood on his hands. Like, sure, I was predicting that he could be the guy, but I didn't think. Fuck. He was right there. He was right there in front of me. I could have, I don't know, maybe I could have done something. Now he's God knows where. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Barry's like, Caitlin's like, don't worry, we're gonna find him. I just got a text from Dr. Wells. It says here that the metahuman is going after Jitter's coffee shop. If that's the case, then I gotta stop him. Caitlin's like, Barry, no, don't. We don't know what we're facing yet. Barry's like, if I don't stop this guy, people could die. I have to try. As Barry grabs his suit and runs off. Barry gets to the coffee place as he sees the metahuman and killer werewolf. He's like,
looky here.
Barry's like, Nick, Then this metahuman's like,
you know my name? Well, good. I know yours too. Isn't that right, Barry? Alan.
How did you...
When I slashed your suit, I looked your blood off my fingers. And then I got your scent. That the man inside the suit was you, Barry.
Barry's like, let these people go. Please. They did nothing to you.
What? These little imbeciles? Don't make me laugh. Looking at me like I'm an animal? Guess what? I am the animal. And as right now, I am gonna kill the big red and blue streak.
As Barry is running around Killer Werewolf, he starts hitting him multiple times through the face as Killer Werewolf gets mad, and he just unleashes all of his energy, and he's like, ah! As Barry just falls on the ground. Cisco is like, Barry, was that blue lightning? And then Killer Werewolf just punches Barry multiple times in the face. Dr. Wells is like, Barry. And then Linda's like, stop. I'll go with you. Just don't let him die. I'll go with you, just let him live. Killer Werewolf is like,
fine.
As Killer Werewolf just kidnaps Linda, as he just breaks the front door of the coffee place and just gets away. Next shot is back at Star Labs, and Cisco's like, oh my gosh, you got blue lightning. Barry's like, yeah. Dr. Wells is like, Mr. Allen, how come you never told us about this before? Barry says, I guess I was afraid. Cisco says, afraid of what? Afraid that maybe if I let it come out, it could take control of me. Cisco's like, hey, that's not gonna happen. Listen, you're the red and blue streak. You're a hero. That's not gonna happen. Okay? Whatever happens next, me, Caitlin, Dr. Wells, we have your back. Barry says, yeah. Oh no, I'm going to talk to Caitlin. The next shot is Barry talking with Caitlin, and Barry's like, you okay? Caitlin's like, I don't know. It's just... you saying you had to try? Funny enough, that was the last thing Ronnie said to me that night. Before the particle accelerator blew up. It's just... I've been so terrified to go down that hole. Barry then says, what if we went down there together? The next shot pans out where they go down to the pipeline. Caitlin's looking at the door, and she's like, gets flashbacks of when she was down that pipeline, and she was like, Ronnie, you there? Ronnie says, yeah, Kay, I'm here. Listen, this door needs to remain closed to protect you and Dr. Wells and Cisco, so nobody can get hurt. Caitlin's like, come on. If anyone can get out of there, I know it could be you. Please. Ronnie's like, listen, you look out for each other, okay? You look out for your friends. Even if that means moving on from me. And Kate, and then you hear this big explosion, and then Caitlin screams, Ronnie! As flashback ends, Caitlin looks at the door, and she's like, crying. Bear's like, Kate, you good? Caitlin's like, Ronnie, if you didn't do what he did, we all would have been infected. But I didn't want Ronnie to be my boyfriend forever. I want him to be my husband. As Caitlin and Barry hug. Then on the hologram, Cisco's like, we have a location. Barry and Caitlin come up and they're like, you have a location? Cisco's like, yeah, we pinpointed Killer Werewolf's point of origin, and it looks like he's here in this old abandoned warehouse. Once I was able to link the two energy signatures together, it was easy to get a match. Caitlin's like, Barry, just be careful, okay? Barry's like, yeah. Same to you. As Barry just runs away. The next shot is at this warehouse, and Linda's like, why are you doing this? Nick / the Killer Werewolf is like,
why? That guy I killed? He's the reason why I'm not married anymore. And as for that agent, I had no intention of killing that FBI agent. All I know is he was in my way. But once I dispose of you, I'll dispose of the Flash. And then I'll show everyone in this city that their big hero is nothing but a fraud and a coward. Now, how would you like to die? Do a bite with one of my claws? Or a neck snap like that? How would you like to die?
And then Barry shows up in his Flash suit, and Killer Werewolf's like,
You try anything funny? She dies.
you're not going anywhere, Werewolf. It ends tonight.
Indeed it does, Flash.
As Barry starts running towards Killer Werewolf, Killer Werewolf punches Barry in the face as Killer Werewolf uses his green energy and throws it at Barry. Barry dodges the attack as Barry just starts running and running and running and trying to get him in. And then Dr. Wolf's like, Barry, remember, if you try to tire him, his cells will be able to slow down. You have to tire him out. As Barry begins running and starts punching and punching and punching Werewolf in the face so many times super fast, and then Werewolf just grabs Barry. He was somehow able to grab Barry by the neck, and then he just throws him across the room. And then that's where Caitlin's like, Barry, listen, you got this. You're a hero. Let your blue lightning out. Don't let it defy you. Let it out. Embrace it. You got this, Barry. I believe in you. Now go. Go! Run, Barry. Run! And then Barry just runs at Killer Werewolf. He's like running and running and running and running. And then he just punches Killer Werewolf multiple times in the face. And then he just straight up runs. And then he hits Killer Werewolf in the face as Killer Werewolf goes flying on his back through his neck into his face. He is knocked out. And Cisco, Caitlin, and Dr. Wells are like, yeah! Yeah! And then that's where we see Killer Werewolf knocked out. And then Barry's like, Miss Park, are you okay? Linda says, yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Before Barry leaves, Linda axes the shriek like, who are you? Like, what's your name? Barry says, you can call me the Flash. And then Barry just runs away. And then he takes Killer Werewolf to Star Labs, and he just grabs him and throws him in the pipeline. And then Cisco's like, listen, if we're gonna be taking down Menace humans, we need to make sure we have our own private prison for him. Dr. Wells says, the pipeline. Caitlin says, yeah, the pipeline seems like a big environment to keep these human prisoners. What do you think? Barry says, I think it could work. The next shot is Nick waking up in the cell that's in the pipeline, and Barry's like, you're never going to hurt anyone else ever again.
Nick is like, is that so? You may have robbed me from my victory, but that doesn't mean my path for killing you is over. Until next time, Barry. And until then, I'll be thinking of you.
The next shot is at CCPD, and Barry tells Joe we got him. It was Nick. He was the metahuman that killed that FBI agent, but nobody can know about it yet. Because we're the only ones that knows what's really going on. We need to keep it that way. Joe says agreed. And the next shot is Barry running, and as Barry's narrating, he's like, not every hero is invincible. Sometimes there are heroes that have weaknesses, but there are also those good sides of heroes that brings out the good in them. If I'm any type of hero today, it just proves that if it wasn't for my friends, that would never have saved other lives along the way. So instead, I run. As the opening logo appears, we see this person sitting down on this chair, and then we get the news of we get this news thing that says this reporter Linda Park has been saved by a mysterious blue and red streak calling himself the Flash. A news report today claims that a mesh. And then this guy's like, streak, interesting. And boom, that is the end of the episode. Here's hoping the next episode can come out, hopefully next week. So, yeah, here's hoping that could happen, but who knows, never say never, right? But anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, peace out.